Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope it shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns, once more the gift is given. Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace it shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open our eyes to see that life abounds. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of love it shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
Welcome to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Joanna. So glad that you are here today, that we can be together and we can, even if we are not physically reaching out, we can reach out with our hearts and in chat to be able to be connected once again. If this is your first time coming to Live Oak, wow, I'm so glad that you are here. I will tell you something that I often say to people that is 100% true is that even if I were not the minister, this is the community that I would want to be a part of because these people are great and this past week have shown it over and over again. Everyone who is here, know that you are so welcome. And now, what we do at the start of all of our worship services, like practically all UU churches, is we light a flame. And boy, doesn't that take on added meaning this week. So please, if you have a candle left after this past week, or a chalice, or even if it's just symbolic, pull it towards you now as we light our chalices together.
me, agree with me. We're all a part of one body. It is our will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. You are important to me. I need you to survive.
I need you, you need me. We're all a part of one body. Stand with me, agree with me. We're all a part of one body.
It is our will that every need be supplied. details of your needs, that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Well, it's been a week. It's been another one of those weeks that somehow manages to last about 6 months. But we made it. They're saying that this was the worst storm, the worst winter storm that Texas has experienced in a generation. And we also know that whereas that might be correct, looking at the there were so many days of the weather being below freezing and this many inches of snow and ice and etc. We also know that the biggest issue was human-made. We can look at El Paso and Beaumont, which went through this same winter storm. However, they were not on the ERCOT power grid, and they did okay. And so it is apparent that just like New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina and Houston after Hurricane Harvey, that we have to look at the human breakdowns that occurred, the systemic, unnecessary things that happen. We'll get to that. First thing though, how are you doing? This isn't a rhetorical question. We have a chat in the worship service here, and so now let's just I'm just going to pause, and if you could please type into chat, how are you doing? I am so sorry for everything that you went through this week. This has been a traumatic event, and it has been traumatic for every one of us, everyone involved. The luckiest of us only had the trauma of worrying about our loved ones and each other, and the feeling of helplessness, of not being able to get to each other. And so many of you have gone through so much trauma this week. Unimaginable trauma of looking around your home, if you were lucky enough to have a fireplace, and wondering what all you could burn, what piece of furniture or what scraps of wood can I put on there to burn? How can I rig up some sort of a pot so that I can boil water if I am so lucky as to have water? Going outside and scooping up snow to melt, to flush the toilet. I mean, what is this little house reality that we have gotten into? We have had really different experiences this week based on things like which municipality you lived in, and did you have an electric stove versus a gas stove? What were the supplies that you had on hand? Were you a camper, so you happened to have camping equipment? And did you, by some just freak accident, manage to live on the same grid as a hospital or a fire station or a water tower or something else that was deemed to be an essential business? This past year, not just this past week, this past year, the word essential has just taken on a whole new meaning as we have questioned what is an essential business, what is an essential job, who are essential people. This has been trauma. Don't just shake it off. I know that is just part of our spirit, to just be brave and shake it off and move on. But what you don't deal with doesn't disappear. Find people that you can talk to. Talk to me, find others in the church. I will say, be aware of who you're talking to. Even before the pandemic, there was this great graphic that went around talking about how kind of the circles of trauma that someone could be going through, and how close they were to the trauma. If you are one who is suffering from survivor guilt, you can bring that to me. I got some of it too. Or to call your friend in another state. Don't ask for forgiveness. Don't make someone who has gone through a different trauma have to respond to that. But this has been a trauma for all of us. And let's not just shake it off. In fact, let's have a moment of primal scream therapy. There is no such thing as, like, on the internet, no one can hear you scream, because it is now kind of accepted that scream is caps lock. So, again, this isn't rhetorical. Right now, if you could hit your caps lock, and in the chat, I'm going to invite you to scream. Scream about everything that you are mad about or anxious about. I will remind you that this is an intergenerational space, although it might be kind of like in the show The Good Place. We do have some filters, so I'm not even sure if there are many expletives that you could use, but maybe skip those anyway. And now, come on, let's scream. We're going to have to face our feelings of what came up this past week. We're going to have to face our fears. And I know that there were a lot of legitimate fears. It will become very easy as things warm up and everything melts. It'll become very easy to try and just laugh those off, or even maybe to feel embarrassed about your fears. Don't. They were legitimate. People had fears for their own lives. They had fears about how they were going to take care of their children during this. Hard choices had to be made, including for some making the decision to take the risk, the very significant risk, to get out on the roads, to get someplace safer. Those fears were real, and let's acknowledge them and grieve that we even had to have them. Everyone this week faced discomfort. And isn't discomfort like the most disingenuous word ever? I know that everyone has had the experience of a doctor or a dentist talking to them and you asking them, is this procedure going to hurt? And them saying something like, well, you'll experience some discomfort. Yeah, this week we experienced some discomfort in so many different ways, and that's not how it's supposed to be. And it was unnecessary. And everyone this week pulled up resources in themselves, and you were so courageous and generous and creative, trying to figure out what you were going to eat or how you were going to make some heat where you were, how you were going to find water. And over again, what I kept hearing from people when I talked to them, or what I was seeing people posting about on social media, was gratitude. Over and over, people who were going through such a rough time, people who were going through things that no one should have to go through. And what I would hear again and again was, oh, but there are other people who have it worse. Really, I'm very lucky. So let's take another moment, and this time in chat, post about something that you were or are grateful for. We can have gratitude and also look at the overall systemic breakdown that occurred and what were the forces that caused that breakdown to happen and what are we going to do about it for the future. I mean, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to try and push back on this, that are going to try and say, hey, this was a once-in-a-generation storm. We don't need to change anything. Well, we hear that message at least about once a decade. And yes, there are certain things that would probably be a waste of money. I don't think that Austin needs to get in as many snow plows as, say, Boston has, but there are other things, specifically things related to our energy grid, that need to be addressed. This is part of a bigger picture, as so much this year has been part of a larger picture. In our country, but especially in Texas, there have been two different philosophies about how we create a society and maintain it, and specifically how we do government. And on one side, there is the opinion that the main role of government is to remove any possible barriers to people being able to do whatever they want, specifically for businesses to be able to do whatever they want. On the other side, you have a very different philosophy. You have the idea that we are stronger together and that we can pool all of our resources, money, but also know-how, expertise, knowledge, that we can pool our resources and create a life that will be better for everyone. Texas, for the last couple of decades at least, has consistently chosen the former. And that's why we've wound up with things like the explosion that happened in the town of West Texas. It's because this movement, again, to remove barriers, including safety regulations, has been the law of the land. Well, you know what? We can change the law of the land, and specifically, we can change the leaders of the law of the land. My friend, the Reverend Dr. Brenda Arnold Scott, lives in Houston, and she has been freezing and being without water through all of this, like so many people. And she wrote this. She said, even if ERCOT has not served us well, there was no pre-planning and coordination on what local governments would be ready to do in the wake of a governmental failure to serve during a lengthy power outage. Many times our government officials, leaders, and agency heads, chosen by government officials, give more attention to photo ops, personal, national, world recognition, palm greasing, looking the other way for future endorsements and support, favoritism, nepotism, and other negative isms that dilute the effectiveness of true fiduciary responsibility and trust. She said, I pray for our leaders and love them as my neighbor, as God requires, but I am calling them out, hopefully in love, to do better, to be better lights, or just step down from the ministry of humanity so that they don't have to be shamed out or impeached or brought up on charges for gross negligence of some kind. She added, I unabashedly stated that heads should roll. They are rolling. And will Texas remember this when it's voting time? Remember that they put us in residential deep freezers / personal morgues and waited to toe tag us. Harsh. And I think she's completely right. That's what happened. Our actual bodies have been sacrificed on the altar of deregulation, and unfettered capitalism. This is a community of resilience and love all through this. Thank you so much. I am so proud to be your minister. All through this, people were checking on each other. Some were opening their doors to each other or getting materials to each other. And I know that that is going to continue. We are going to fill up your water containers. If you need to do laundry, we're going to figure out how you can do that. We care for each other. And this, I think, is the model for how you create a society. And when we look at all of this in the larger picture and figure out what are the next things that need to be happen. By the way, for the first time ever, I may be really happy about this. The Texas Ledge is in session this year. Let's contact them. Let's get some things going. I think that what we talk about here at Live Oak, this is the big philosophical difference between us and perhaps the philosophy of how a society should work in Texas. We say all the time, you are not alone. I'd like to have a state that says that too. Wouldn't you?
though days be dark with storms and burdens weigh my heart, though troubles wait at every turn. Oh, I know I can't go on when sorrow heals my soul.
thank you so much for joining us today. It is always good to be together, but especially this Sunday. Thank you for participating either in chat or maybe only in your heart. That's okay too. Please, this week, reach out. Find someone who you can talk to. That can be me, it can be someone else in this church, or maybe you have that perfect person in your own life that you can reach out to and you can say, hey, can I tell you my story of what I went through this week? Don't discount that. Like, this has been proven in therapy and research time and time again. When you go through a traumatic event like what we all just went through, it is important to be able to tell the story of what happened from beginning to end. That is how we will be able to process this and make sense and make meaning out of it. If today was your very first time coming to Live Oak, if you go to liveoakuu.org, you're going to see a link there that says Just for Visitors. If you click on that, it's going to take you to a Zoom room. We'll have a couple of members who are in there. They can answer any questions that you might have. And for everyone, I invite you now to come to our fellowship time where we can see each other's faces and talk and begin our recovery. May you go forward this week, and there is no telling what all will be involved in recovery this week, but may you go forward knowing, as always, that you are lovable and you are loved and you are not alone.
Soon the day will arise when we will be together, and no longer will we live in fear. And the children will smile without wondering whether on that day thunder clouds will appear. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Wait and see